Welcome back, everybody. It has been a difficult time in the last month. I've slowed down the videos, and I'm sorry about that. Family issues, eBay sales are down, other things here and there. I had to take care of those things. I really want to get back to videos, getting back to, posting, talking, and sharing things, but also getting rid of stuff. I have to do the video first before I can get rid of it. So from now on, we're going to postpone the boiler room area back there, and we're going to start hitting a whole new area. The area I've talked about for quite some time. The dreaded toy pile. So right here is an original painting from the 1983 American Furniture. Yeah, I got this at a rummage sale. Isn't that crazy? This is the actual painting. Those were good times. That's another story for later. We're going to hit up a few toys, just a little bit of toys. This is the new area to hit. Let me know if this is just a smidge. I think we have a problem. I think we have our work cut out for us. And to be honest with you, the basement, like this section right here, is the last of the really bad areas. And what happened is when we moved in, I had everything put on the shelves here, as you can see. Look at that Night Boomer up there. Got our Ghostbusters, large vehicles. So that's pretty much what it was larger vehicles went on this shelf. A couple tubs, and I was sorting through stuff. And then we went into here. This light never worked when we bought the house. We just never got around to fixing it because it was all about getting out of storage. We had so many storage units that we were getting rid of, and thankfully we don't have any now. So we'll figure out the hell is going on here where I left it like a year and a half, 2 years ago. So I have no idea what's in those tubs right now. And then, of course, this pile here. So this is all going to be larger toy vehicles. So it's not going to be that bad. They were all just meant to be gone through, organized, and dealt with. We can tub them up. We have so many extra tubs now from all the stuff I've gotten rid of. It's so much better. But this is the last of like the worst of the worst. And it's going to be fun. It really will be. There's a lot of, look at this, Dreadnought vehicles there. We got Gem. We got G1 Transformers and all these tubs here. We got Eco, Jailer, Ghostbusters. I mean, it's going to be a blast. It's going to be good because I already know this is extra. So we'll definitely have stuff for sale. And it's about time we got to deal with this because once I get this more... Well, we have to start somewhere. So let's start with the Ghostbusters Filmation Jalopy. Oh my God. Look at this cool ass vehicle. So this is the main vehicle from our heroes from the Filmation Ghostbusters series, not the real Ghostbusters. So this is kind of a crazy vehicle. It's very identifiable. The spawn is just so colorful and unique, and I don't have the head right there. It's right there, actually, in the front with that happy face on it. It is not a pure classic 80s toy like Optimus Prime, but it is one of those things that when people see it, they'll be like, I kind of remember that from my childhood. Now, Shaper, which was later picked up by Tyco, produced this vehicle with the entire assortment of action figures. And this was based upon the live action TV show from the 70s, hence the lawsuit issue of The Real Ghostbusters versus Ghostbusters. That being said, it is kind of crazy that they decided to take their franchise since the popularity of the movie Ghostbusters, bring it forward and not really change that much to it. Like, I get the concept of keeping Tracy the ape, but like, did you really have to stick with the Jalopy vehicle? I know it transforms. It is unique in its own way. But if you think about it, they really didn't change much up for the series. Just added like the classic Hanna-Barbera looking villains. But that being said, this vehicle is incredibly tough. You can find the action figures pretty common. Sometimes complete has been an issue. The vehicles, especially this buggy, the piano, I can't remember the name of it right now. I just see Prime Evil in front of it, as well as the playset, are just some of the toughest toys produced in the 80s, period. I'm going to keep it, of course. This was always incredibly rare to find at toy shows, even 20 years ago. It had a value to it, and there's so many parts. And this one should be complete. It's just been flopping around too long that I have to get it all together. It should be in the pile here. But this is just a keeper. When you do find these, they're always going to be incomplete, as I said. They might be broken or damaged in certain areas. And this purchase came from a collector who had passed on like 15 years ago, and he had one of every 80s toy. He was a spectacular collector who I never knew in the Chicago area, which I wish I did, but c'est la vie. That being said, I think this runs probably around like $500 now, which isn't that crazy, but I get it. I get it. We now have the Chuck Norris Kenner Corvette. This is super sweet, especially when they have a 5-inch action figure line and they sat back and said, let's make a full-scale vehicle. And they're like, let's make a freaking Corvette. And you're like, hell yeah, let's do a Corvette. That red, gold little chrome emblems, lots of little accessories popping out to kick ass and all the villains. I love it. And they fired those discs. Oh man, this thing is super sweet. They don't run that much, thankfully. Like $298. Must have bought this at like some weird Goodwill back in the day. But they're very popular. Chuck Norris just has this underground love for certain collectors. I'm not as passionate as some of those guys are. I'm just happy to have a loose, complete collection for Chuck Norris. But this is just super sweet. Man, like, not that you're like holding it again and like looking at it and you're like, yeah, that's awesome. I can't put the pieces in with my one hand, but you guys get the idea how it operates. I'm going to keep it, of course, unless I find a duplicate in this pile, which we might find a duplicate, to be honest with you. Probably runs only about $50-$60. It sold fairly well back in 85, 86, I believe, but you could still find a lot in clearance stock. So even in the late 90s and early 2000s, dead stock sealed were out there. And to this day, since the collector community expanded since then, everybody kept those sealed pieces still sealed. So about 100 and a quarter, probably 150 still sealed. But yeah, look how monster awesome that is. Somebody found a, oh, I can't get a proper position. Hold on. Oh, look at that. It just decided to hang itself right there. So I was in Cincinnati and somebody had located the internal mold for this piece right here. That's it. So it was like 7 inches by 7 inches by 4 inches tall. And I should know these things, but right now as I'm doing this video, my brain's just falling out of my ass. So this was an internal mold, not a silicone rubber mold for a resin hard copy. It was an internal injection mold. So it needed to withstand high pressure of the plastic being injected into it. And it was the guy's trunk of his car, and he was selling it. And he's like, I'm selling it. You need to get rid of it because he has to fly back to his home. And we're like, what are you asking? Blah, blah. It's neat, but it's not like, oh my God. And he goes, try lifting it. It has to withstand such high pressure that what it was made out of was so dense and heavy that I think it was about 50 pounds just for that little bit. We're all like, well, it was neat, but that's not going on our shelf or our Deltoff case. But anyways, we're going to keep this puppy for now. Let's see. We have the Eco Jailer. Look at that. That is the Captain Planet, probably one of the toughest vehicles of the Eco Planeteers that was ever produced. This is very tough to find, and I love the colors. Early 90s, produced by Tiger Toys. That yellow and the clear blue just pop. They did all those vehicles like the motorcycle, the submarine, the flying jet. You guys get the idea. I love this stuff. I'm a big Captain Planet fan. Watched all this stuff. Bought a few toys when I was younger. The funny part is the market's gone up heavily on these things. So I have a box one all the way back there. And I found that in an earlier video. And then over here is just chilling this loose one. And you're like, wow, that's cool. But probably like $20. And then I looked them up and it's like $250 now because it's so hard to find this exact piece versus the other vehicles. And it's kind of silly. It's got just a big grasper claw up on top. You throw the eco villain in the back with nothing on top, so they just kind of hop out and they're like, thanks, that was stupid. Thanks for wasting my time, you jerk. I mean, they are a bunch of kids with powerful rings and these wonderful vehicles, but they're still just kids and they're stupid. So based upon that, this is just a toy. So yeah, I get it. It's just play value. So we're going to let that piece go. So that's great news that we're going to move on that piece. We have a little front now. There you go. So this one becomes a shuttle. And then what's in car mode, it has the logo. Look at that. So we will find more pieces for the Jalopy. Oh my God. It's been 10 minutes already. Got Japanese Transformers, Optimus, Runabout, Knight Rider, Aliens from KB, Ninja Turtles, Aliens and Predator, Marvel Legends, Build-A-Figures, Silverhawks. Oh my God. We got light bulbs. Look at that. There's light bulbs. Gosh, I know. Light bulbs are exciting. So when we do wrap up these videos of getting this stuff organized, these are all G1 Transformers we need to go through my personal collection. And I got to see what's yellowed, what's destroyed, and, you know, purge some of that. A lot of Japanese exclusive pieces will be there. A lot of unique stuff, too. So I'm excited to go through it, and I hope you guys are, too.